really, Miss Junior? Well, a song has multiple ownership layers, right? So this is the purpose of this full thing is to establish foundational clarity, right? A song is not one thing, it's two separate legal assets. Two separate legal assets. So there's the publishing, which is the composition. We're going to break that down soon. And then there's the master, which is the recording, right? Good. So now the composition, what does that include? That includes the lyrics, the melody, the songwriting structure, okay? Who is it owned by? Usually the songwriters and the composers, okay? Good. Now, what revenue can they get? Well, for publishers, what they get is they can get radio royalties, they get performance royalties, they get sync licensing, right? And they also get mechanical royalties, right? Good. Now, then there's the master, which is the recording for that song, right? That includes the actual audio file, right? And what's going to stream on the platforms to get a different type of revenue, right? Who is it owned by? Usually either the artist, right? If the label, if the artist is under a label, because usually you sign away your rights when you sign to the label. We're going to go into that as well, right? And sometimes the producer or the investor. It has to be legal though. We're talking legal now. We're not talking about perception today. That's what we're going to break down today, because there's a lot of difference between what is out there, what people think, and what would actually hold up in court. So we're going to break it down. We're going to really, really enlighten some artists, right? So that they can protect themselves. Okay. What kind of revenue? Well, it generates streaming money, sales, and they also get licensing revenue from that. Right? Okay. Now, there are three core ownership layers in a song. Every song is really three different assets stacked together. Right? Yeah. So, sorry, I was reading what Luke Clark said. Everybody leave out the iota Clark. No, but your spelling is the right spelling. That's the British, well, not the right spelling, but that's the British spelling, the Clark. Yeah, so every song have three different assets stacked together, right? So first you have the publishing, which is the composition. Then two, you have the master recording. Then three, you have control. Number three, the execution, the exploitation. This is what people miss. And this is where they fall short. And this is where they have to learn, right? Most people are here on social media talk about 1 and 2. But the real power players understand number 3. So we have to talk about this, the control. Okay, good. So when you publish the song itself, you're publishing the lyrics, the melody, the songwriting structure, right? We went through that. Right? No, if you're publishing, your power level is high long-term value, right? It's moderate short-term value, right? Why? Because publishing pays forever. That's true, right? But you still need the master owner's approval for most big deals. You do. Okay? Now, oops, right? We talked about what it is and who owns it. Yeah, so what money does it generate for the masters? We talk about this, the sales and the streaming. Okay. So now when it come on to the masters, right? You have high short-term cash flow, high distribution control. No master, there's no release. No release, that's no money, right? That weight is about 50% of immediate revenue power, if you think about it, right? Now, when someone owns, why does it do that? Why is it jumping? Hold on there. Where am I? It just jump. 1 second, guys. This thing just jumped by itself. Yeah, when someone owns the master, they don't just own the song, they control the actual recording that makes money in the real world, right? That's why people say own your masters, own your masters. That's why the masters are so important, right? Think of it this way: the composition is like the blueprint, but the master is the building that people enter to pay. People pay to enter, right? So owning the master is basically like controlling the building, right? The master owner control how the song is used. How the song is used. Now, the master owner, what does he decide? He decides, can this song be on Spotify or Apple Music? Can it be uploaded to YouTube? Can it be used in a movie, commercial, video game? Can a DJ remix it officially? Right? If you don't own the master, you can't legally approve these uses. Okay? Legally, we're talking legally here now, right? Okay, good.